The world is quietly being remade, not by armies wielding weapons but by architects of commerce armed with blueprints and budgets. This transformation is subtle, yet profound, reshaping the very foundations of our globalized society. While the West is often consumed by internal political debates and localized concerns, China is methodically rewriting the rules of international trade, brick by brick. They're not just participating, they're actively redefining the game. It's not just competing on the existing playing field, it's building a completely new system, a parallel structure with Beijing strategically positioned at its center, acting as the hub of a vast and expanding network. This fundamental shift is already dramatically reshaping global supply chains, impacting how goods are produced, distributed, and consumed worldwide. It's also forging new alliances, realigning existing partnerships, and fundamentally altering the dynamics of the global economy as we know it. The old maps of commerce, the established routes and traditional pathways, are becoming increasingly obsolete and irrelevant. Goods, capital, and even data itself are being rerouted, flowing through entirely new channels and corridors, bypassing established norms and conventions. China's vision is sweeping and ambitious, to connect the world on its own terms, establishing new standards and protocols for international engagement. It's about exporting infrastructure and influence, building tangible assets and fostering economic dependencies, rather than imposing a specific political ideology. Trillions of dollars are being strategically invested in the critical arteries of 21st century trade, including modern roads, state-of-the-art port facilities, and the essential digital networks that underpin modern commerce. By strategically embedding itself in the economic futures of other nations, China is positioning itself to become an indispensable partner, a vital component of their continued growth and prosperity. This isn't simply a Cold War rerun with new players. It's a more nuanced and complex contest between two fundamentally different models of global integration, each with its own set of strengths and weaknesses. The traditional Western model has historically relied on the principles of free markets, democratic values, and strong alliances, while China's approach is far more state-driven, highly pragmatic, and relentlessly focused on tangible development and infrastructure building. A deep understanding of this emerging new paradigm is absolutely essential for effectively navigating the complexities of the world that lies ahead. The future of global commerce is being actively written right now, in boardrooms and at negotiating tables around the world, and the center of economic gravity is undeniably shifting east, towards Asia and its dynamic, rapidly growing markets. The year 2025, a seemingly ordinary number, yet it holds immense significance on the global stage. It is a crucial milestone in China's meticulously planned grand strategy, a roadmap designed to reshape its economic and geopolitical standing. Central to this strategy is the ambitious Made in China 2025 initiative. This initiative aims to fundamentally transform China into a global high-tech powerhouse, a leader in innovation and advanced manufacturing. It strategically targets key sectors including the rapidly evolving field of artificial intelligence, the cutting-edge world of robotics, and the life-altering advancements in biotechnology. The ultimate goal is nothing short of global dominance in the industries of the future, securing a leading position in the next era of technological advancement. The vision is to make the world increasingly reliant on Chinese innovation, establishing China as an indispensable hub for technological solutions. By strategically moving up the value chain, focusing on higher value production and advanced technologies, China directly challenges the established industrial giants of the West, creating a new landscape of global competition. 2025 is also the year when the Belt and Road Initiative's most significant flagship projects are scheduled to come online, marking a major step in global connectivity. These projects are designed to integrate new trade corridors that span across Eurasia, facilitating smoother and more efficient trade routes. Africa and extending far beyond, connecting continents and fostering global trade. This vast infrastructure network cements China's position as the central nexus of a burgeoning new trading bloc, reshaping global commerce. The convergence of industrial upgrading with its focus on high-tech manufacturing and the massive infrastructure expansion marks a pivotal turning point in the global economic order. For China, it represents a moment of national rejuvenation, a resurgence on the world stage, and for the world, it signals a new economic reality, a shift in the balance of power. The established rules and power dynamics of global trade are undergoing a fundamental rewrite, ushering in a new era of international commerce. At the heart of China's global strategy is the Belt and Road Initiative, the most ambitious infrastructure project in history. Overland corridors and maritime routes connect China to Europe, Africa, and beyond. Chinese firms build ports, railways, and power grids in developing nations, offering a path to economic growth. But every project serves Beijing's strategic interests, securing resources, setting technical standards, and embedding Chinese influence. Infrastructure becomes soft power, creating deep economic dependencies. When a nation's key assets are built and financed by China, Beijing gains leverage over its policies and alliances. The new Silk Road is about more than trade. It's about geopolitical power. Concrete and steel are paving the way for a new world order. The promise of shiny new infrastructure, bustling with activity and potential, often comes with a hidden cost, a shadow lurking beneath the surface of progress. It's a complex game often referred to as debt trap diplomacy, a strategy where the allure of development masks a more calculated agenda. China, a major global player, lends billions for large-scale projects across developing nations, fueling ambitious infrastructure initiatives. These loans, however, often come with opaque terms, complex clauses, and surprisingly high interest rates that can cripple economies. When countries inevitably struggle to repay these massive debts, buckling under the weight of financial strain, Beijing then offers debt-for-equity swaps, a seemingly helpful solution that carries significant long-term consequences. This allows them to gain control of strategic assets, vital infrastructure, and key resources within these nations. The story of the Hambantota port in Sri Lanka serves as a stark cautionary tale, a real-world example of this dynamic in action. Unable to meet its debt obligations, Sri Lanka was ultimately forced to hand over the port, a critical piece of its infrastructure. The port was then leased to China on a 99-year lease, effectively ceding control for nearly a century. This pattern, repeated across several countries, raises tough questions about the true nature of these financial partnerships. Is Chinese aid a genuine effort towards global development, or is it a carefully constructed tool for extracting concessions and expanding influence? While some projects undoubtedly foster economic growth and improve living standards, the very real risk of losing sovereignty and control over national assets is a significant concern that cannot be ignored. For many nations, particularly those with developing economies, the allure of quick financing and rapid infrastructure development must be carefully weighed against the potential for long-term dependence and the erosion of national independence. The price of progress, when financed through unsustainable debt, can be perilously high, leading to unforeseen consequences. The world is increasingly learning that infrastructure development, while essential, can come with strings attached, and those strings can have far-reaching implications. The West was slow to grasp the scale of China's ambitions. Hopes that economic engagement would liberalize China have faded. Instead, China has built its own power base. The US now responds with tariffs, tech restrictions, and new alliances like the Quad to counter China's rise. Europe, deeply tied to China economically, walks a tightrope, labeling China a partner, competitor, and rival all at once. This balancing act is growing harder as global lines sharpen. The unipolar era is over. We're entering a multipolar world with competing centers of power. Countries everywhere face tough choices between Western security and Eastern opportunity. The geopolitical map is being redrawn before our eyes. These shifts aren't abstract. They affect businesses, investors, and consumers everywhere. China's market offers huge opportunities but also risks. Tech transfer demands, regulatory hurdles, and fierce competition. Trade tensions and new economic blocs create volatility for investors and uncertainty for markets. The Belt and Road and Chinese tech giants are now essential knowledge for anyone managing money. For consumers, supply chain disruptions and tariff wars mean higher prices and fewer choices. The tech rivalry will shape how we work, communicate, and live. Job security, cost of living, and the digital world are all being reshaped by this contest. The strategies set in Beijing today will impact your future, whether you realize it or not. The world isn't waiting for us to catch up. China's 2025 strategy is already reshaping the global order. Staying informed is the first step. Track the Belt and Road, understand Made in China 2025, and watch how the West responds. For businesses and investors, adaptation and diversification are essential. Old assumptions no longer work. Resilience and agility will define success. The story of China's rise is the defining narrative of our time. with no simple heroes or villains. The future is built by the choices we make today. By staying informed and engaged, we can prepare for the challenges and opportunities ahead.